The year is 1587, and you and 118 other people have left Britain and have just arrived on a small island called Roanoke, in what will later be known as the United States of America. In the beginning, you struggle with the lack of supplies, so you, as the leader of the colony, leave for England to gather supplies and come back. You leave in the year 1588, but your return is delayed, and you do not return until 1590. You find the fort abandoned. There is no one to be seen. You find the word Croatoan carved into a fort's gatepost, and CRO carved into a tree. You never see your daughter or granddaughter again. Skip forward to today, and there is still no solid evidence that confirms the fate of the missing colony of Roanoke. Over 30 years before the Pilgrims ever stepped foot on the New World, there were several colonies established by the British in North America. Roanoke was one of these colonies. In 1585, the first Roanoke colony was established by Governor Ralph Lane, on order of Sir Walter Raleigh. The Roanoke colony was situated on Roanoke Island, which is just off the coast of what is now North Carolina. John White was a part of this first colony of Roanoke, as an artist and a surveyor, and his job was to document things from the New World. In 1586, this first colony evacuated Roanoke due to lack of supplies and poor relations with the local natives. In 1587, the second colony of Roanoke, the Lost Colony, was led by John White, and he was accompanied by 17 women, 11 children, and 90 men. Among these were his daughter, who was pregnant at the time. The second colony was actually supposed to go to Chesapeake Bay, and they stopped at Roanoke to pick up some people left behind from the first colony, but the men they had stopped to pick up were not there. They were ordered to stay at Roanoke, so they established their colony there. While they were there, Virginia Dare, the first British person to be born on American soil, was born, John White's granddaughter. In 1588, due to the struggles with the lack of supplies, White returned to England for a resupply mission. The average voyage at these times, to go to Britain from the United States, would have taken 40 days. However, when White returned to England, England was in a war with Spain, and Queen Elizabeth stated that no ships were able to leave England as they were needed for the upcoming war. This meant that White couldn't return until 1590. When he did return, he found a settlement that was fortified but abandoned. He found the word Croatoan carved into a gatepost of the fort, and CRO carved into a tree nearby. White assumed that they had gone to Croatoan Island, which was nearby. However, White was never able to follow this lead due to rough seas and a lost anchor, so he had to return to England. Search parties were later sent, but found no trace of the lost colonists. So now I want to explore some of the theories behind what may have actually happened with the lost colonists. From the offset, there was bad blood already established between the English and the native tribes nearby. Some of this was due to the colony led by Ralph Lane. There was an incident with a silver cup where a member of a local tribe took a silver cup, as the understanding of possessions was different to the natives. They didn't see it as stealing. Ralph Lane was then ordered to go get the cup back under any means necessary, and this led to the entire village of the natives being burned down. Ralph Lane then travelled further inland in search of gold, but due to the lack of food and the paranoia, he had fears that the local tribes were plotting against him. So he met with one of the local tribes, and him and his men opened fire on them. They beheaded the chief of this tribe. When a supply ship came, the settlers requested to go back to England rather than accept the supplies and stay. So we know that the tribes nearby probably don't have a good opinion of the new English colonists that keep coming over, especially with this hostility that has been shown previously. This leads to the theory that maybe a local tribe came and murdered the colonists. However, with the lack of bodies, it's hard to ascertain whether that is the true fate of the colonists. Interestingly enough, when White left for England, the colonists actually promised to leave a sign. They promised that they would leave the word Croatoan, to leave a sign that they were moving on to another place as the struggle got too hard with the lack of supplies. And they were also told that they had to carve a cross above the word if they were leaving due to troubles in the case of being attacked. However, there was no cross found. So this suggests that there wasn't an attack on the actual colonists and that they just left because of the lack of supplies and they were struggling too much. Another lead presented itself a few years later when a native chief boasted that when his tribe was in a war with the natives of Chesapeake, he also killed colonists that were staying with the Chesapeake natives. And it is possible that these colonists were the Roanoke colonists. It's possible that they could have been caught in the crossfire between two tribes. But what's also worth noting is that because this colony was so large, over 100 people, all the surrounding tribes in the area were far too small to take on the entire colony to be able to help them with food and other supplies. So it's very possible that they split up and different groups went to different local tribes. So it's quite possible that they melded with these local tribes and they became symbiotic. Another lead that presented itself more recently were some stones that were found with carvings that were believed to be from the daughter of John White. However, these were later debunked as fake, so there is still no solid evidence as to where they went, but there are theories. Another theory, of course, is that there are supernatural forces behind this. They vanished, they went into a different dimension, they were all abducted by aliens. Moving on to what I believe happened, what is the most convincing for me is that I believe that they split off into different groups and they melded with several local tribes. And it's possible that there might be some descendants of the Lost Colony today. But at the moment, due to the lack of evidence, we can't prove either way. Another thing I wanted to delve into is the other mentions of Croatoan in mysterious cases in history. I've heard of this from several places, some YouTube videos, some blogs. The word Croatoan has been linked with other mysterious missing cases. Going chronologically, after obviously the first, which is the Lost Colony of Roanoke, Edgar Allan Poe, who went missing for some time before his death, when he was found he was delirious, and on his deathbed he apparently said the word Croatoan. This was in 1849. A few years later, in 1888, the mysterious case of Black Bart, who carved the word Croatoan into the wall of his jail cell before being released and going missing. A horror writer, Ambrose Pierce, who vanished in Mexico, had the word Croatoan carved into the last bed he was known to sleep in, and that was in 1913. In 1921, a ship, Carroll A. Deering, pulled into a port with no sign of the crew. There was no one on board, no bodies, no living, and the word Croatoan was written in the captain's logs. And then the last, Amelia Earhart, who went missing in 1937. It was said that Croatoan was found written in her journal after she vanished. However, all of these are alleged. None of these accounts are part of the official stories when you look up the official accounts of these missing cases. So is this one big cover-up and no one wants you to know about the mysterious word Croatoan that makes people go missing? Or is it someone trying to string these mysterious missing cases together to make them seem connected and make the entire story a lot more scary? In my opinion, I don't believe that any of the later cases of the use of the word Croatoan are true. I am yet to find any evidence of these claims. And due to the fact that we now know that Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, now known as Hatteras Island, there's a plausible explanation as to why this word was carved into the gatepost. The first time that I had this story, I heard there was a colony in America, a guy leaves, comes back, everyone's gone, and there's this mysterious word that no one knows what it means carved into a tree. That's how I heard it first, but then delving into the actual facts of the case, it doesn't seem as supernatural as that initial story would have you believe. So please let me know what you think happened below in the comments. And I'd like to hear if you have any information on the other uses of the words Croatoan. Have you heard any different ones? These were the ones that I could find. And also, if you have any suggestions for subjects that I could tackle next, that would be brilliant. And any constructive criticism would be amazing. This is my first YouTube video. It's completely new to me, so any advice that I can get from you is absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for watching, and I also wanted to say thank you so much to my friends in Discord who have inspired me and encouraged me to pursue this. So thank you.